From one of the world's most sumptuous gambling clubs settled along the Singaporean coast, and Elon Musk's fantasy for a world loaded with maintainable gigafactories to a 110-mile-long straight city in the Saudi desert, and the biggest water park at any point fabricated, home to the planet's destined to be tallest waterslide. The following are 10 of the greatest Uber projects on the planet. Somewhere in the range of 1998 and 2004, the Petronas Pinnacles in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, were the tallest structures on the planet. At 1,483 feet, the Malaysian twins were just 33 feet taller than the Sinjas Pinnacle in Chicago, which then turned into the second tallest structure on the planet. Or, on the other hand, perhaps the third. The Petronas Pinnacles held that title until the development of Taipei 101 in Taiwan. However, at that point the Burj Khalifa predominated everybody in 2010, standing 2,717 feet tall. In any case, the Petronas Pinnacles are the tallest twin high-rises on the planet and home to Public Oil Restricted, a Malaysian oil and gas organization ordinarily alluded to as Petronas. The $1.6 billion pinnacles likewise highlight the world's most noteworthy two-story span between the 41st and 42nd floors. You can make a beeline for the perception deck on the 86th floor for a stunningly better perspective on the Malaysian horizon. Argentinian-American draftsman Cesar Pelli went with a particular postmodern style, meaning to fabricate a 21st-century symbol for Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. Perceiving how the authority Malaysian religion is Islam, Pelli joined standards of Muslim engineering and planned to make a construction that overflowed with Malaysian culture. Like most Uber projects, development didn't come as planned. A terrible clump of cement carried development to a crushing end. They were stressed the powerless cement had contaminated all that they had constructed up until this point. Fortunately, manufacturers just utilized it on one story. They destroyed that floor, revamped, and continued to move. In any case, the defer cost the task about $700,000 each day. During the 2000s, Singapore concluded it needed to partake in the club game. They'd recently lifted a long-term prohibition on betting, expecting to reinforce the travel industry and lift their economy. Numerous amazingly popular names went after one of two spots, names like MGM Delusion and Wynn Resorts. Eventually, Las Vegas Sands, which claims the Venetian Club Resort in Vegas, won the first of two spots thanks to their vision of a $3.2 billion betting and diversion region called the Marina Strait Sands. They set up almost $4 billion to put resources into the undertaking. That is on top of the $1.2 billion paid for the 6 million square foot site. In any case, on account of work deficiencies and rising material costs, the complete advancement cost was assessed at 8 billion Singaporean dollars starting around 2009, or around 6.8 billion US dollars. They called it the most costly independent hotel property at any point fabricated. Be that as it may, not at all like some Uber project thoughts, they really pulled it off. Today, the Marina Sands sports a 2,500-room lodging, a 1.3 million square foot conference hall, a shopping center, a gallery, and a few superstar gourmet specialist eateries, including 2 Wolfgang Pucks. In the meantime, the club floor is a card shark's heaven with 500 tables and 1,600 gaming machines. The final blow, maybe, is the Sands Sky Park, a 1,100-foot skyway interfacing every one of the 3 pinnacles. You can jump into the vastness pool while partaking in a lovely perspective on the Singapore horizon. It was charged as a $100 billion extravagant city, a living heaven on the planet. Yet, starting today, Backwoods City, Malaysia is a phantom town brimming with void streets and abandoned tall structures. In 2006, a Chinese improvement firm called Nation Nursery reported their arrangements to construct the huge city. It was a long-term project set in Johor Bahru, a Malaysian city north of Singapore. As per Bloomberg, the The Malay government perceived how effective Singapore was with the travel industry and needed to trade out. The first thought, pitched by Malaysia, was to fabricate another city close to the thoroughfare associating Singapore to Malaysia. Then, at that point, Nation Nurseries stepped in with their $100 billion Timberland City thought, which included building fake islands 2 or 3 100 yards off the Singaporean coast. Country Nurseries sold the fantasy of extravagance lofts, lodgings, workplaces, fairways, and tech parks to energetic Chinese financial backers who sank large number of dollars into the destined-to-be assembled condos. Engineers guessed that 700,000 individuals would rapidly move into the new city. 520. Starting around 2019, just 500 call it home. As indicated by Business Insider, the populace has probably developed to a couple thousand, however it's still under 5% of the normal occupants. So assuming you needed to, what amount could it cost to move to Wood City? Sadly, costs have soared as of late. In 2017, a Wood City loft just expensed about $170,000. Today they cost about $1.14 million. You're in an ideal situation purchasing in Johor Bahru, where the typical deal cost is about $141,000. Furthermore, there are real indications of something going on under the surface. You're cruising down the Red Ocean between Saudi Arabia and Egypt when you unexpectedly see your appearance along a 110-mile reflect. In any case, stand by a moment, that is not a mirror. All things being equal, it's a 1,600-foot tall, 660-foot wide, 110-mile-long structure, and there's one more running lined up on the opposite side. What you're as of now taking a gander at is Saudi Crown ruler Mohammed Container Salman's Neo-M venture, otherwise called The Line. Some might call it the reasonable city, representing things to come. Others think it sounds somewhat tragic. The $725 billion city will run on only economical energy. There won't be any vehicles by the same token. All things being equal, the MBS envisions a rapid underground train that can get you from one finish to another in a short time level. Inhabitants will partake in a lavish outside scene between the two reflected structures. Those structures preferably will house and utilize around 9 million individuals. The line will likewise stay under the careful look of an eye. MBS expresses it's to utilize information models to track down ways of working on the city, however it sounds a little grid-y to us. It's all important for something many refer to as Vision 2030, which plans to make the oil-rich country the world forerunner in supportable advancement. Work started on the line in late 2022, with drone film turning out in October, showing what resembles the underlying preparation. As per Saudi authorities, you could be living in the line when 2023. Or, on the other hand, is it on the line? What might be said about it the line? As per Elon Musk, when the Gigafactory in Reno, Nevada is finished, it will have the biggest impression of any design on the planet, greater than the incomparable pyramid, the Realm State Building, and the Burj Khalifa. Counting various levels, we're discussing 15 million square feet. Be that as it may, each inch will run on environmentally friendly power. Presently, you've most likely seen Elon talking with Leonardo DiCaprio about the Gigafactory and its ecological effect. As per the Tesla president's computations, it would take 100 gigafactories overall to drive the whole planet with reasonable energy. Sadly, the current gigafactory in Nevada is around 30% complete. Tesla at long last declared plans to extend the production line in 2022. However, the full-scale building is, as yet, a far-off dream. Presently, Elon's been pondering the Gigafactory his entire life, yet official plans didn't start off until 2014, when Panasonic consented to put resources into the $5 billion task. With the house sorted out, the time had come to decide the where Tesla visited a few areas, not even once contemplating northern Nevada. Be that as it may, after a little persuading and a few confidential outings, Tesla at last chose the Tahoe Reno Modern Center, or TRIC. Presently, while the Nevada manufacturing plant is the greatest, it's not by any means the only Giga production line Tesla claims. Giga, New York, situated in Bison, centers around power pack batteries and sunlight-based chargers. Giga Texas, the organization's most up-to-date manufacturing plant in Austin, fills in as Tesla HQ and goes about as a gathering site for Model Ys, Model 3s, Cybertrucks, and Cybersemis. Two more Gigafactories exist outside the US, one in Shanghai, China, and the other in Berlin, Germany. Jubail, Saudi Arabia, used to be an old fishing town on the Persian Inlet. It was loaded with abandoned rural areas until the mid-1970s, when an American designing organization called the Bechtel Enterprise kicked things off on the biggest modern city on the planet, traversing in excess of 687 square miles. Upon its finish, the new site added to around 7% of Saudi Arabia's complete gross domestic product. At the turn of the centuries, the Saudi imperial family chose to extend activities in Jubail, and Jubail too was conceived. Considered by a larger number of people to be the world's biggest structural designing undertaking, Jubail too looked to twofold the city's unique size. The venture gave lodging to 120,000 new inhabitants and constructed a shiny new 18,000 understudy college. Today, Jubail is a central part in the worldwide energy market, drawing in the best and most brilliant tech and business minds across many nations. At the point when it's finished, Jubail too could make them the central part. During top working seasons, the Jubail 2 undertaking utilizes 20,000 specialists each month. About $4 billion has been put resources into framework, which incorporates many miles of streets, water and waste offices, and utilities. Another $18 billion will go toward building the actual extension. As a matter of fact, the undertaking is large to the point that they broke it into 4 stages north of 22 years. The ongoing schedule has Jubail 2 finished by 2024, however we'll check whether any pandemic-related mishaps push that fruition date off a little. Lusail is the second biggest city in Qatar. Assuming you watched the 2022 World Cup Finals, you could perceive Lusail Arena, the biggest of its sort in the Center East. The Qatari government assembled the Lusail and 7 other arenas explicitly for the World Cup, costing about $6.5 billion. A few specialists gauge Qatar went through some $200 billion 12 years to get the World Cup going in the first spot, also the endless common liberties infringement. As per Bloomberg, a lump of that change went toward building Lusail City itself, a Uber project that cost some $45 billion. The region was as yet a desert when Qatar won the World Cup bid in 2010. They needed to have it completed before the occasion. However, as indicated by ESPN essayist Imran Ogden, the city feels more like a tragic scene straight out of a Christopher Nolan film. At the point when it's finished, Lusail is supposed to house around 450,000 individuals, including 250,000 inhabitants, 190,000 office laborers, and 60,000 retail staff individuals. At some point, every one of them will get to appreciate Water Tar, the world's biggest water park. Viewed as the crown gem of this counterfeit city, Water Tar will highlight 36 water slides and attractions close by a 279-foot tower, home to the world's most noteworthy water slide. At the point when it's finished, the recreation area will cover around 300,000 square feet. They anticipated that it should draw in 50,000 guests each day during the World Cup. Be that as it may, you can't ride one half-constructed water slide, can you? The Blue Nile Stream, one of the 2 essential Nile feeders, is a lifesaver for northeastern Africa. Its streams end from Lake Tana in Ethiopia, through Sudan and into Egypt, about 1,600 miles downstream. In the mid-2010s, Ethiopia declared plans to construct a $5 billion dam on the Blue Nile. The undertaking went through a few name changes, at one time called the Thousand Years Dam, yet developers at long last chosen the fantastic Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, or GERD. Basically, the place of the GERD was to supply more than adequate power to Ethiopia, a country that before GERD saw 60% of its kin residing in dimness. Preferably, the GERD will deliver such an excessive force that Ethiopia can offer power to the encompassing areas like Sudan and Egypt. The dam should be open in 2017, yet quarrels between Ethiopia, Sudan, and Egypt continued to slow down the undertaking. Egypt depends intensely on the Nile stream and accepts the GERD will fundamentally restrict how much water accessible when it arrives at Cairo. Ethiopia says something else, while Sudan has been stuck in the center. Top state leader Abiy Ahmed Ali cut the fantastic opening lace that late spring. The GERD is formally the biggest hydropower dam in Africa and positions among the main 20 around the world, straight up there with the Three Canyons Dam in China. In January of 2008, the UK concluded the time had come to extend its thermal power abilities. After certain discussions and monetary discussions, the thought for Hinkley Point C was conceived, joining the positions of Hinkley Focuses A and B. At that point, Hinkley B was the UK's most useful thermal energy station. However, it shut in August of 2022 because of advanced age. Fortunately, plans for Hinkley Point C were at that point in progress, designs that presently have a £25 billion sticker price. Yet it wasn't that costly all the time. EDF is the French energy organization initiating the venture. They needed to have the plant open and functional by 2025, however a few mishaps and a worldwide pandemic continued to push the finishing date. As per the BBC, the predetermined number of labors permitted nearby during coronavirus cost the task the greater part 1 million days of basic work somewhere in the range of 2020 and 2021. At the point when it's finished and paid for, Hinkley Point C's twin-unit reactor will actually want to deliver 3,260 megawatts of low-carbon energy for the following 60 years. By examination, an ordinary coal plant just delivers 600 megawatts of energy. As indicated by EDF, Hinkley Point C will give sufficient clean energy to drive 6 million homes until the 2080s. The Yangtze Stream is the essence of China. Almost one-third of China's populace, around 400 million individuals, live along the stream bowl or its feeders and depend on it consistently. In any case, the way things are, northern China's more industrialized and bone-dry districts battle with dry streams and limited admittance to water. It's been that way for, indeed, until the end of time. Then, at that point, during the 1950s, Mao Zedong drifted the possibility of a huge designing task that could take care of China's water issue in a couple of brief years. The thought was to assemble 3 trench frameworks, one in the east, one in the west, and one in the center. Obviously, governmental issues and contention kept the venture in the arranging stage for around 50 years. Development started in 2003, and it's supposed to require an additional 50 years to wrap up. Also, the $62 billion sticker price. Fun reality, that is over 2 times the expense of the Three Crevasses Dam. At the point when it's finished, the South-North Water Move undertaking will redirect 44.8 billion cubic meters of water yearly to drier regions in northern China. It'll likewise connect China's 4 principal streams, the Yangtze, the Waterway, the Huaihe, and the Haihe. Assuming all works out as expected, water redirected from the Yangtze stream close to Yangzhou City will travel along existing channels to the Weishan piles of Shandong. From that point, it'll cross the Yellow Stream by means of a passage and stream into Tianjin. The focal course will redirect water from the Han Stream to stream up to Beijing. They needed this leg completed in time for the 2008 Olympic Games, yet somewhere around 1/4 of the course was assembled. At long last, the western course will redirect 4 billion cubic meters of water from 3 feeders along the Yangtze and send it around 300 miles across the Biankala Mountains and into northwestern China. To see another very much like it, make certain to tap the connection on screen now. With that, gratitude for watching and make certain to tune in sometime later.